there's no better feeling than like having one of your songs come on and it absolutely smash the dance. Like that's just the best feeling in the world, basically. Hey, it's Katie B, and this is the making of Katie on a Mission.
When we erupt into the room and hear the stuff go boom, I'm feeling easy to resume. This right here, I swear will end too soon.
I used to do little tap and drama classes and stuff, and I never did singing at all. I just did the dance and the drama. But one day there was like an audition for Annie, like an open audition, and then I remember like learning tomorrow. Everyone was like, "Oh, you're quite good at this," so I joined the singing class. And then I went to the Brit School. I got in playing the piano. Actually, I learnt piano growing up. I found that I was better at singing than playing the piano, probably. But yeah, I fell in love with singing. I adored it. Going to the Brit School kind of. Because you're going to school with a lot of people who are interested in the same thing as you. It's like you see your friend getting a gig in a pub or doing their own demo and stuff, so it kind of spurs you on to feel like you can do the same sort of thing. One of my friends from my previous school that I went to, her older brother was making garage. One day he asked me if I wanted to sing on one of his productions that he'd made, and I was like, yeah, cool. So I wrote a song called Heartache. It was about being in a club. I was only like 15, I don't even know, I'd never even been in a club before. But I was like, yeah, you know, no boys try and chat to him with my girl. And then it actually started getting played on pirate radio. It was just blew my mind that someone in North London could hear my song, let alone, you know, anywhere else. So yeah, I started doing clubs. And even though I was only like 16, I was like, and I looked young as well, so it was great because it meant I could go raving, even though no one ever believed that I was probably old enough to be in the club.
He doesn't, he blocks my way. I try to push past, but he wants to play. So I sip her drink as I hold her gaze.
The people who were raving to garage kind of crossed over into the UK funky. People started listening to like more house and stuff like that, soulful house. And that's how I met Genius, because he was producing UK funky at the time as well. And I had quite a big tune called Tell Me in the funky scene at the time. I remember I'd get like the train, the East London line up to Whitechapel every Wednesday and borrow DJ Zink's studio. Thank you, DJ Zink, for kindly lending me your studio for an afternoon for 3 years, and we made what went on to become my first album.
The way I usually find my music is just through friends, really, because you know a lot of my other friends are like musicians or producers or DJs and stuff, so I usually trust their opinion, really.
So we kind of had a lot of songs that I'd written for my album, and I remember we kind of just needed like some straight up like bangers. We were like, okay, we need like a big dubstep tune, and at the time Bengals had a song out called Man on a Mission, which is the instrumental to Katie on a Mission. That's why I called it Katie on a Mission. It was just tearing up the raves. I remember my friend Dana as well being like, this is the one, this is the tune, it's so sick, and she was like, yeah, let's have a go at vocal in this song. But I remember being so focused because it was such a specific job that this tune had to do. It was like, this is going to be the song that smashes the dubstep raves. I was raving to dubstep at the time quite a lot. There was Forward on Thursdays. The lyrics kind of being like, in this room of darkness, I am undercover. That's specifically about plastic people, because it used to be like you'd have the bar area and then you'd have the room where you dance and there'd be a curtain. So it was completely pitch black. Sometimes how I like to write songs is kind of just close my eyes and kind of tap into that scene and that like part of my imagination. That was the kind of feeling that I wanted it to feel like when we like erupt into the room. It was like we had so much energy as young ravers, and it was like our energy meeting the energy of the rave, and it just kind of being this force of nature. I do remember at the time being asked to change the lyrics a bit and make it like a little bit more romantic, so it was a bit more universal. And actually I think I remember me and Benga actually being in the studio together, and like we were just like, we're not really getting anywhere with changing this. It's fine as it is, you know. One lyric that did get changed, I remember, because I did one of the original demos with Zink. It was meant to be, this right here, I swear will be my doom. And it was like far too negative. Let's change it. This right here, I swear will end too soon. I was like, okay, sick.
When we erupt into the room and hear the stuff go boom, I'm feeling easy to resume. This right here, I swear will end too soon.
Because I felt so passionate about raving. I almost wanted to spread the gospel of how, as I said, that feeling of me being in that room in Plastic People, immersed by sound, or any rave, and just how much joy it brought me. Like, you know, and if I could bring that to other people, that'd be amazing. I think because we had recorded so many different versions, I didn't want to hear the song for like so long after that. I remember the album being finished and me just skipping it every single time because I was like, I can't hear this song, I can't hear this song one more time. Now it's my favourite song to perform.
You're doing really well now. Like, you proper killed it. Are you, like, have you become an overnight celebrity? Like, what's the deal? Do you roll up to the VIP now and get taken
Not
through?
at all. I haven't been recognised or anything, only once in Lakeside in Starbucks, so big up to that girl.
I remember at the time like travelling up and down the country and doing like lots of uni gigs and things like that, and it was very bizarre. Like, this song, I don't know what, it just makes people go feral. At one point, I think I performed in like Leicester, and the whole bar basically snapped in half because people were just going so wild, and I had to like, they were like, we have to vacate the premises, and like, it was a bit too much, like, yeah, but it was amazing. So with the video, I remember it was just such a great night. Boy Better Know were there, they're in the video a little bit. Screaming Bengo went on their set and it was absolutely crazy. I remember them like picking me up and like throwing me into the crowd to do a crowd surf because they were like big on crowd surfs at the time. And I just remember being so terrified because one, I'd never crowd surfed before, and two, I didn't know they were gonna do it, so.
I'm feeling easy to resume this right here. I swear we'll end too soon.
I feel very, very lucky because I feel like I got to make my album from a place with absolutely kind of zero pressure, really. I didn't have any like big A&R person trying to change anything or get involved. It was kind of like, by the time that the album got picked up, it was completely finished. I think it went to #5 in the charts independently, which is just mind-blowing because we kind of had the album before and were asking labels if they kind of wanted to, if they were interested and stuff like that, and everyone was like, no. And then all of a sudden it was like every single label was knocking at our door. Annie Mac especially, actually, in particular, I have to big her up all the time. I remember she brought me out to Ibiza to perform it, which is, you know, even that trip to Ibiza was one of the most memorable of my life. With Live Lounge, Arctic Monkeys covered it, which was amazing. Alex Turner's obviously such an incredible songwriter, so for him to have like picked my song, it was amazing. Yeah, I was chuffed, definitely, and they did an amazing version. There's no better feeling than like having one of your songs come on and it absolutely smash the dance. Like, that's just the best feeling in the world, basically. I've had tunes that were big at the time, but you hope in 10 years' time will that song still smash the rave, sort of thing. And I feel with On a Mission, I'm lucky enough that it still smashes the rave, and I'm happy that I've got one of those like under my belt. And also, just like when I go on my phone afterwards, and it's like always the song that people have like put on their stories and been like, I've waited so long to hear this song live, and like people just on each other's shoulders, and like, yeah, it's such an amazing feeling, definitely, that it kind of means so much to people.